Hello, I'm back. Sorry for my absence. I kind of got tired of making gaming videos because I didn't really like the editing, and yeah, aside from my Resident Evil 3 video, which is the first video I made, I didn't really like the other videos, even though I spent so much time working on them. I thought I had to start over and make a bit of a variety of videos. I will still do gaming videos, but I want to do other types of videos as well. Today I'm going to make a horror video game tier list, and since I played a lot of horror games out there, I think my opinion may be worth sharing. Okay, first thing first, the obviously legendary Resident Evil 1 for the PS1. Uh, this is a revolutionary game when it came out. It made the whole horror genre. If without this game, we wouldn't have most of the horror genre video games we have now, because this game, together with Silent Hill for the PS1, it was revolutionary. It still has a lot of atmosphere, it's still scary, and regardless of how it aged, I think it's a really good horror video game. So I'm going to put it in a bit higher because I mean, it's really good, but it's not as scary as the other games in this list, or in the Resident Evil series too. So Resident Evil 1 beat higher. Now, Resident Evil 2, the remake. Resident Evil 2, the remake is a good remake of Resident Evil 2, but I don't think is like as good as other people say it is. I think there is more positive about the old ones than there is in the new ones. Resident Evil 2 remake has a lot of positives, but compared to the original, it has a bit of a lack in atmosphere. One thing is that I think the remake is too dark. Like, it doesn't have a lot of good lighting going on. Like, the game just has too many dark rooms. The overall game is very dark. Like, it's like being in a dark room the entirety of the game. I didn't feel a lot of the design and the aesthetic of the levels as I did in the original Resident Evil 2. So I'm going to put into this in the B tier too. Even though I'm complaining a lot about it, I still think it's a great Resident Evil game, but not necessarily to the A level or to the S level. So B level, like Resident Evil 1. Next we have Resident Evil 3, the original, and about what I was saying before. Okay, this game is the one that the remake actually was like one-on-one. It was very loyal to the original, the remake, because they are both short. Like, they both could feel like they were the DLC of Resident Evil 2 of each time, because it's very short. The original game was short, the remake is short. They are very short games, and it feels like it could be an optional level of Resident Evil 2. With that said, it's a good game, really good, for the first part. Towards the end, the game kind of feels like it's missing the scary element, because mostly you have, by the way, the clock tower was an amazing level in the original, even though it was a bit short. Too bad they removed it in the remake, but yeah, aside from that, the game is really good in the first part when you are in the town as Jill and you are followed by Nemesis, and I think that for the remake as well. But after that, when you get to the industrial parts or in the laboratory, the game starts to just be a rehash of Resident Evil 2, and not in the same vein as Resident Evil 2. Like, the last part of the game is clearly similar to Resident Evil 2. Like, you fight a deformed nemesis, and it's literally a rehash of Resident Evil 2 when you fight William Birkin, which is transformed as well in his final form. Like, I know it's a Resident Evil game, so they can't really have all that variety in their monsters because they are all various variations of biological weapons, but I just don't think the last part of Resident Evil 3, in both the remake and the original, are very good. I think the first parts of these games are amazing, but not the last parts. With that said, this game goes into the sea level. I'm sorry, Nemesis, I'm sorry, but I just don't think it's as good compared to the other games we have in this list and to the other Resident Evil games. Now we're getting to the interesting ones. I mean, Resident Evil 4 is very loved, right? And for good reasons. I do think it's a great game. It basically invented over-the-shoulder third-person games, horror games, I think. Yeah, it's a very good game. I mean, it has a lot of horror atmosphere. This game actually has a segment which everybody knows about it, with the monster that can't die in the laboratory, and that's the scariest part of any horror game, I think. This game is mostly an action game rather than an horror game, and I think that needs to be said. There is a clear difference between action horror and survival horror. Resident Evil 1, 2, 3, Code Veronica, Code Veronica 1, 2, 3, and Code Veronica are survival, with including the Resident Evil 0 and Resident Evil 1 HD. They are survival horror. Resident Evil 4, 5, 6, and 8, they are action horror. I didn't include the 7 because 7 kind of makes a return to survival horror, but in a different way compared to the old Resident Evil generations, obviously. The game is not as scary as the other Resident Evil games, even the old ones, because there is that element of survival that is missing. You have some level of action in the old Resident Evil games too, but Resident Evil 4 puts that to another level. I mean, the whole aesthetic with the many enemies coming at you in Resident Evil 4, screaming and so on, it's not horror anymore, it's action. You are supposed to fight all the hordes of enemies coming at you, kind of like Left 4 Dead, right? I never played that game, but I know it's super popular, and there is a difference between fighting hordes of zombies coming at you and fighting off slow moving zombies that closely get close to you. There is a difference, and Resident Evil 4 is an action horror game. Now, with that said, it's an amazing game. It's a great it has an amazing replayability, because between all the Resident Evils, Resident Evil 4 maybe it's one of the most replayable, and it has great levels. Leon is amazing as a main character, and the game itself has a lot of scary parts, even though it's an action game. With that said, this is an horror tier game list, so I'm going to get to do it based on how scary I think a game is, and I don't think Resident Evil 4 is that scary. It's a good game, of course, it's an amazing game, but it's not that scary, so I'm going to put it in C level. Again, I put it in this category, not because I think it's a worse game than Resident Evil 1, but I think it's a less scary than Resident Evil 1 or Resident Evil 2, the remake. I mean, Resident Evil 2 remake has a lot of action, but it feels less action than Resident Evil. No, actually no. Let me think. So I'm going to put this into B tier. Now, between Resident Evil 2 and Resident Evil 4, again, this is not based on how good I think a game is. This is based on how scary I think a game is. And I do think Resident Evil 4 is scary, but I don't think it's as scary as Resident Evil 2, the remake. I mean, some parts of Resident Evil 4 are definitely very scary, but guys, help me. I don't know, where should I put Resident Evil 4? In B or C? Because I do think it relies a lot of action. Okay, let's put it in B, then maybe later we're going to change it, I don't know. Now, okay, another action horror Resident Evil game. So, Resident Evil 5. As I said before, I don't want to repeat myself over and over. This game is another type of action horror game. It has scary elements, yes. One scary element of this game is the part with the big insects that can kill you at first attack. The insects those bugs that can instantly kill you in the later parts of the game, they were one of the scariest parts of the Resident Evil series for me, together with the alien monster look-alike in Resident Evil 4. With that said, this is an action horror game, and while it is really good, actually, I think it's really good. A lot of people hated it. I actually think it's just as good as Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4 obviously being more aesthetically pleasing and being more, quirky, but this game is it's great. I liked it, and it's a bit goofy sometimes at the end, but I think it's a great game. So with that said, it's an action horror, and I think it goes into the C category because it's a bit more action than Resident Evil 4, and yeah, I think okay, let's recap. Resident Evil 1 B category, Resident Evil 2 B category, the remake, Resident Evil 4 B category, and Resident Evil 3, the original, in the C category, and Resident Evil 5 C category. Okay, I think we are okay with this for now. I think it looks good for what I said now, until now. Now, Resident Evil 6. Okay, so I don't know what people are going to say about this one. This one was not very good, well liked when it first came out, and I don't know, maybe people changed their opinions now, and then they change it back. I don't really care. I don't like Resident Evil 6. I think it has good walkthrough. I think it has good parts, especially the Ada campaign. I really didn't like it. I really didn't like it. Outside from the Ada campaign, I really didn't like it. I mean, I felt like it was a very cinematic movie. Like, it felt like I wasn't playing a game, I was just watching a movie, and the segments in which I played were all very cinematic, and I didn't feel scared at all. And with that, I don't mean that I don't like when games have a lot of cutscenes, even though sometimes there can be a lot of cutscenes and you barely play any game after. I'm talking about you, Final Fantasy 13. Yeah, 13. Lightning. But yeah, I actually don't like the gameplay that much. Outside from the Ada campaign, I really didn't like anything about the design or the aesthetic. I did like. No, actually, I did like the monsters designs for this game, which is a total waste because even though the designs of the monsters was really good, they were completely wasted on this game because it didn't use them enough. It didn't make it as scary as I thought it was going to be. I mean, playing this game was a chore for me. I wasn't interested at all in anything that was happening, and I didn't find it scary, I didn't find it interesting. Gameplay wise, I didn't think it was that good of a gameplay, so yeah, I'm going to put it into garbage. I'm sorry, I don't like Resident Evil 6. Okay, so next we're going to talk about Resident Evil Code Veronica. Now, this is my opinion, my personal opinion. Obviously, it's my video, it's about what I think. But I think this is actually the most, probably one of the most scary Resident Evil games. It's very long, so it has a very long campaign. And the parts of the games that are scary, which is almost the entirety of the game, by the way, like there are not parts that are not scary in Code Veronica. It goes back to the old Resident Evil 1, because Resident Evil 3 and Resident Evil 2 were scary, but Resident Evil Code Veronica puts that to another level. Like, it goes back to Resident Evil 1, but it plummets that to a higher level. It makes it even scary because it has a mansion level, it has a cemetery level, it has a prison level, which is the beginning of the game. It has all various levels that are always scary, and I can't, like, there are so many moments in this game that are genuinely scary, like in the prison, when there are zombies that you have to go to a kind of torture chamber to get an item, and there is this place with all zombie, and there is this place when there is this doctor zombie that just comes out of the corpse bag, from what I remember, and attacks you. And then there is the Alexia castle that is really, really scary. Like, there is literally an evil laugh before you get to it. It's a very scary game, and again, this is together with HD, I think it's the scariest Resident Evil game. And yeah, I'm going to put this game into the S tier. Wait a bit. Yes, this game goes into the S tier. It's a really scary game. It doesn't get boring the more you go on, and yeah, it's a really good game. Great designs, great ambience, great anything. Next, we have Resident Evil Chronicles for the Wii. Okay, so I played this game a bit, and it's basically just a reimagination of Resident Evil Code Veronica, Resident Evil 2, from what I remember in this game, and a bit of Resident Evil 2, Resident Evil Code Veronica. I don't remember what the other what the other campaign was, but I don't remember the other campaign. But I remember there was a segment about Leon and Krauser, which was very good. But aside from that, it's basically just a shooting horror game in which you use your Wii controller to shoot at the zombies and monsters. It's what it is. I don't think it's that great of an horror game, so it goes into the D category because it's not garbage, but it's just an arcade game basically. So next, Resident Evil Dead Aim. Okay, I played this game and I actually thought it wasn't that bad. I liked the ship as a setting, and this was before Resident Evil Revolution came out. I liked the villain. Like, the villain is this androgynous looking guy. It had a really great potential, even though it wasn't used as much. Basically, the main character of this game is a copy of Leon with his love interest, which is a copy of Ada Wong, obviously. But yeah, there is nothing more to this game. I didn't think it was that bad. It has some flaws, obviously, but I think like it could have been worse. I mean, after all, it was trying to do, I don't know, a spin-off, kind of like Resident Evil Outbreak, even though Resident Evil Outbreak is a great game, but we'll talk about that later. But while I didn't hate it, honestly, I think it goes into the garbage because even though I didn't think it was that bad, honestly, compared to the other games in this list, I don't think I can put it any higher than this. But we'll see, maybe I'm going to change later on. Resident Evil Deadly Silence. Okay, I didn't play this. This is the Game Boy version of the first Resident Evil game, right? No, I didn't play it. Resident Evil game, then I didn't play it, I just watched a playthrough on YouTube. Resident Evil Raccoon City, I didn't, Operation Raccoon City, okay, I didn't play it, I don't plan to. Resident Evil Outbreak. This goes into the S category immediately. Not only this game is super scary for me to this day, and even at the time, but I don't know, there is something about the gameplay that is also kind of comforting. I mean, it has the vibe of the old Resident Evil games, but also, I mean, obviously it's in its newer generation, and the whole open door when you enter a new area, the designs of the levels, the zoo levels in the second Outbreak, I think, the laboratory levels there is from Resident Evil 2 was really good. Like, this game is just a really, really scary horror game. And as I said, I'm going to rate this based on how scary I think a game is. And Resident Evil Code Veronica and Outbreak, where they may have their flaws in the game, I think they are scarier than most of the other Resident Evil games. So yeah, Outbreak and Code Veronica into the S tier. Obviously, both Outbreak go into the S category because they are basically the same game. I think they were supposed to be released into one package, but they were released as standalone games because of some production problems. I don't know. Anyway, they both go into the S category. Now, Resident Evil HD. This game is good. It's a masterpiece. I still want to replay it even now because it's a really, really, really great game. I mean, it has a very scary atmosphere. The game recreates the mansion in a beautiful way. The visuals are so beautiful, even to this day. You can tell, like, the game. I personally really love the GameCube graphics. Like, a lot of games that were released on the GameCube had a very improved. Like, a lot of games that were released on the GameCube had a very beautiful graphic compared to the PS2 games, which were known for their very low graphics. And yeah, I think it's a really great horror game. It needs to be played by any survival horror fan or every horror fan, and yeah, into the S category it goes. So yeah, like, we are already putting 4 titles into the S category. Now, Resident Evil Revelation 2. Okay, I think this game is great. This game is really great. I think on some levels it's even better than Revelation 1. And while I love Revelation 1, I actually really love it, I do think this game was scarier in some points than Resident Evil Revelation 1. It's because I think this goes into the A category, because I think it's scarier than Resident Evil 1 and Resident Evil the Remake 2 and Resident Evil 4. So yeah, that's why I think like, definitely play this game. It's really scary. I mean, some parts of it are much more continually scarier and not as action as Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil Revelations 2 I think goes a bit more to survival horror compared to Resident Evil 4. So I think it's more scarier. Okay, we have Resident Evil Survivor, which I did not play and I don't plan to. I watched a video on it from Cadicorus, I think, and from what I heard, it's basically just a first-person horror shooter. Usually I'm not interested into first-person games, so yeah. Resident Evil Mercenaries, I played it once, but I don't know, it's basically just a co-op game, which I don't want to put it in garbage. I'm just gonna put it, I haven't finished it, because I'm really not interested into any co-op horror games. So Resident Evil 0 is a great horror game. It has great atmosphere, great designs. It's similar to Resident Evil 1 HD, even though I personally think HD it's way more scarier, and it's a bit more better in gameplay and in pacing, where Resident Evil 0 has a great first act in the train and then in the mansion, but later it gets a bit by the time you finish the mansion part, basically the game loses a bit of its tension. The villain could have had a lot of potential, just like Alexia, but it just becomes boring. Like, he just wants to be young, that's his thing, or he wants revenge on the Umbrella. I don't really get it. I don't know, it wasn't really an interesting villain, Spencer, even though it could have been probably the greatest villain of the Resident Evil series, since he was the one, at least at the time, before the Resident Evil series was retconned, that he found he basically was the one that helped creating the virus. So he could have potentially be the greatest Resident Evil villain, but it just turned out into someone forgettable. But what I think of this game, I think it's very scary, again in the first act, but it gets a bit boring in the after the mansion, basically. So I'm not gonna put it into S category, but I'm going to put it into A category, because that's where it belongs. Honestly, it's a great game. Now, Resident Evil 2, the original. Yeah, I think B tier with Resident Evil 1. It's a great game. The police station, it's very scary. You don't know where to go. You get a bit lost in the police station, just as you did get lost in the mansion. Maybe it's a bit more difficult to navigate the police station compared to the mansion in Resident Evil 1. But yeah, it's a scary game. It introduced a lot of monsters that are well known into the Resident Evil franchise, as known as the Leaker and maybe the Hunter. No, the Hunter was introduced in Resident Evil 1. Anyway, this game was amazing and on the same level of the first game. Maybe the first game was a bit more eerie because it had a different approach to horror. But yeah, a great game. So it goes into the B category together with Resident Evil 1. Now, the first Silent Hill is a really scary game. I mean, the first segment in which you are trying to find Cheryl in this fog town, and I mean, you're just lost in this creepy town with these monsters. Even without all the technological assets, the game is still scary to this day, at least for me. So I think it needs to go into the A category. I don't put it into S category because I think that deserves of another Silent Hill title, not this one. Well, I do think that this one is on the same level as Silent Hill 2 and Silent Hill 3, because if you were to ask me which Silent Hill you like more, I would say I like Silent Hill 3 the most. But I don't think it's better than Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 2. I don't think that Silent Hill 2, in fact, is better than Silent Hill 1. I actually don't think that. I think they are all on the same level. Silent Hill 1, 2, and 3, they are like same level of goodness, in my opinion. Silent Hill 3 might be my favorite, but I generally think they are all on the same level of goodness. With that said, Silent Hill 1 goes to A tier because while it is scary, I think it's not S tier scary, even though it's very scary. So, Silent Hill 2. Now, you might think I'm going to put this title into the S category, but actually, no. This goes into the A category too. I played this game recently, even though I made a video of it that is not on my channel anymore. I think this game had a reputation of being scary until you play it. That is not to say that it's not scary. I think this game is absolutely scary, but I think the scary level of this game is only at first. I thought this game was going to be scarier as I went along, but I actually thought that at the end of the game, at the end of the day, the game wasn't that scary. The only level that was scary was the apartments, but the prison, which I thought it was going to be very scary, it actually turns out that it wasn't really scary at all. If anything, it was actually a very short section of the game, the prison level. The prison level in Code Veronica was actually much scarier than the prison level in Silent Hill 2, weirdly enough. But yeah, like, I think Silent Hill 2 is a scary game, but it's not necessarily more scary than Silent Hill 1. They're on the same level of scariness. Now it depends on what are you scared more of. Are you scared of gory, violent noises? Then go for Silent Hill 1. Are you scared of eerie and lonely, almost damperish places? Then go for Silent Hill 2. I think they are on the same level. I don't think Silent Hill 2 is as scary as people think it is. It's definitely scary, but not S level, at least not for me. Now, what game goes to the S level? Silent Hill 3. I'm sorry, but I think Silent Hill 3 is scarier than Silent Hill 2. I actually don't think I'm the only one that thinks that, and everything that appears, every element, is very grotesque and scary. The rabbit suit with the blood on it, everything being rotten, the mall level with you having to go down and up from the elevators with all these scary noises. Valtiel following you around, and when you die, he actually picks you up. Silent Hill 2 feels more like a journey, while Silent Hill 3 feels more like a nightmare. Which is what I mean when I say that Silent Hill 3 is scarier than Silent Hill 2, because it just has more elements that make it a scarier game. So that's why I think this game deserves to be into the S tier on how scary it is. Okay, Silent Hill 4 goes to the B level. I'm sorry guys, I think this game is really good. It did get a lot of bad reception, but it has flaws. I mean, the plot wasn't that interesting, and the characters weren't that interesting. The monsters had two good designs, the one with the two heads and the giants, but I don't remember much of the monsters. The levels were a bit boring. The train station, the water tower, and the garden, I don't remember much. But yeah, this game had was scary, but not to the level of the other ones. And again, the designs of the ghosts, I don't really think they are that scary or that good to begin with. But yeah, it has a great atmosphere on some parts, mostly because of the soundtrack. But yeah, it goes to the B level. With Resident Evil 4, you know, it's scary, but some parts are not as scary. So, Silent Hill Book of Memories. I haven't played this, and I don't plan to. Yeah, I never played the Book of Memories. Okay, Silent Hill Downpour. I actually played this game, and I actually think it's good for what he was trying to do. It had some parts that were scary. I mean, the town was, this time it was treated more as an open world game, kind of like Evil Within 2. There were some side missions that were genuinely interesting, and the whole story was good. I mean, yeah, it is a Silent Hill story, which means it usually has a plot twist of some sorts about the main character, Psych, because usually it's like this with a Silent Hill game. I mean, all this or based on the ritual, like in Silent Hill 1 or Silent Hill 4. But yeah, I think it's good game. I mean, for an horror game, for a Silent Hill game, it's good. It could have been better, obviously. It has flaws, obviously. But I don't think it's that bad. It had some good ideas, and I honestly felt something for Murphy. I mean, I liked him as a main character. I'm going to put into D category, because while I don't think it's scary as the other games, I think it's worth a playthrough, like the Umbrella Like the Wii games, I think it's worth a playthrough. They're not bad games, I think. Now, Silent Hill Homecoming. Guys, I know, I have a bit of a contrarian opinion. But yeah, I think it's worth a playthrough. This game had some great ideas. Like the monsters were genuinely scary. You meet the characters and you know what happened for the ritual. I mean, a lot of people say this game is just another the main character had problems and blah blah. But no, this game actually goes in depth about the ritual as well. Sure, it's not about Silent Hill, it's about another neighbor town. But still, this is not the game about the psyche of a character like Silent Hill 2. This is a game about a ritual. Sure, it has to do also with the psyche of the main character, but that goes into the second place because the plot in this game, it mostly has to do with the ritual. Again, the ritual of a neighbor town, but still, it's about a ritual. So I don't know. I think it's a good game, and it has some great ideas. And just like Downpour, I think it deserves to be played because it has some parts that are genuinely scary, especially the Scarlet fight. I think that was genuinely a good part of the game. Silent Hill Origins. Again, I think it has some generally good ideas. So I'm going to put into D category. What can I do? I like everything Silent Hill mostly, aside from Book of Memories. Shattered Memories. Again, another D category. It's good. It's good. The Shattered Memories tried something different, and it still was good. It was generally scary. So yeah, like I think all the Silent Hill games, regardless of how you think of it, they are worth playing once because they are not the worst games ever. I mean, a lot of people complain about the horror genre being saturated, but have you seen other video game genres out there? Have you seen JRPG? JRPG has been saturated since the PS1 era. If horror became saturated, it only became saturated in the recent years. And it's not even saturated because there are not many games into the horror genre compared to the other genres. I mean, there are way more shooters, I think, and way more adventure games compared to horror video games, and which is sad because survival horror, it's a great genre. I don't consider the PT demo a game, so I'm just gonna put it in. I haven't finished it. I think it's great, but it's not a game, so I don't know how can I judge. The demo was great, but if I have to judge only a demo, yeah, it's great, but it's not a game. I'm sorry, I can judge a demo as I would judge an entire game. Umbrella Corps, never played it. Alone in the Dark 2. I want to play it, but I never did. But I want to play it. Alone in the Dark 3. I haven't played it. Alone in the Dark, I guess this is the fourth one for the Xbox. I have played this game actually. A long time ago I played this game. Again, I don't think it's that bad. It has some really big flaws. I think it has breakable weapons, right? Like Silent Hill Origins. I played it a long time ago. But yeah, like this game was scary. I mean, I played it with dubs, obviously my own native language, and I don't know, I feel like it was very atmospheric, and I feel like it was really scary. It was very difficult to play it, so I haven't never finished it. But I have a good memory of it because I remember really liking the first part. I don't know, guys. I can't give my judgment on this. I don't want to put it into D category or garbage category. I'm going to put it and haven't finished it because I generally haven't finished it because it was too hard. But also, I had a good impression of it. So I don't know. I know that the game mechanically may have been bad because, but I'm not gonna judge a game because mechanically is bad. I'm going to judge a game based on how scary it is. And from what I remember, this game gave me a very scary impression. That's all I'm gonna say about it. I unfortunately don't remember a lot. But what I remember is that it was scary. I'm going to watch a playthrough later of what the game was. But for now, I'm going to put I haven't finished it yet. Okay, let's continue. Alone in the Dark, the first. I haven't played it. I haven't played this. Alone in the Dark for the PlayStation 1. I want to play this. I actually played it a bit and I really liked it. I mean, it had the tank controls like Resident Evil, so I really like it. But I didn't finish it, so unfortunately I'm going to put it here. Clock Tower 3. I'm sorry, but it goes straight up into the garbage. I don't know why people suddenly one day they wake up and they are like, oh, this game which was reviewed in a bad way, which by the way, yeah, sometimes games are reviewed badly at one time because they are bad, like the other Silent Hill games. There is a reason why they were disliked, even though I don't have a big problem with it. I do acknowledge that they are flawed games. This game, however, a lot of people are. I'm seeing that a lot of people are waking up one day and saying, "Oh, this game is great. This game is scary." Why people don't like this game? Maybe because it's garbage, maybe because it's goofy as hell, maybe because it's not that scary, maybe because the plot is the silliest thing ever. I don't know why people like this game. It's so over the place. Like, the plot is kind of like it's trying to accomplish what Echo Knight for the PlayStation 1, Echo Knight, was trying to do. Except that Echo Knight did it good, this game did it like garbage. It's so silly. Why do you travel in time? For finding, for solving issues. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. I thought the plot was silly, but I mean, the other games, you have Stalker for a reason. In this game, the Stalkers don't have really much reason to try to kill you. In the other games, you can tell that there is a reason they're trying to kill you. In Clock Tower 1, in Clock Tower 2, in Demento. In this game, you don't know why the killers are trying to kill you. If anything, I don't even remember how many killers there are in this game. Because the plot is silly. And because the game, even though it may have some scary parts, it's not scary at all. It's a goofy game with a goofy plot, with goofy characters, and with goofy enemies. And a game like this can't be scary. I'm sorry, but it just can't. So, the first Clock Tower obviously goes into the A category. I think it's a really scary game. Really scary, super intense. The soundtracks make it even more scary. I think this game was based on Jennifer Connelly. Jennifer from the game was based on actress Jennifer Connelly, and the game was based around an Italian horror movie, named Phenomena. I like the movie. I actually like it. It's I like Jennifer Connelly in most movies, so it's a great game. Now, Clock Tower 2. Clock Tower 2 is one of the most underrated games ever. It has a great plot. I don't know why people don't talk about this game. Maybe recently, I don't know, but this game is great. For the plot alone, it's great, but also the atmosphere it's very scary. Like the first segment, you have a child trying to kill you. She just was possessed by a demon. I mean, it's a very good game, and mechanically might be bad, but for scariness, I think it goes into A category. The PS1 and another one for the PS1, which is the sequel to the first one. Okay, I haven't played the second Clock Tower with the Jennifer as the main character, which is the sequel to the very first Clock Tower. I can't give judgment on that game. I haven't played it, I haven't watched it, I don't know anything about it. Cold Fear. I actually played this very niche game, just like a Haunted Mountain on the Wii. I actually thought the main character for this game was the same as the one in Haunted Mountain, because they look the same. It's a great horror game, but I do think it was a bit tedious to play. I mean, but it was scary. I do remember that. It just I don't know. I had problems playing it mechanically, which for me it's not it's unusual, because I never leave a game because mechanically it's bad. Usually I leave it because I get bored, not because of the game being bad mechanically. The only time I left a game because it was mechanically bad, it was Final Fantasy 13. And but that's also because I was really interested into the plot as well. But yeah, like I don't know, I think it was a scary game, but I don't remember much about it. It was on a ship, people were turning into mutants. It was over the shoulder with a bit of camera angles that were scary. But yeah, I don't remember much about it. I'm going to put it into C category, because it's a bit on the vein of Resident Evil 5. Not as good as Resident Evil 4, but not as bad as Silent Hill Homecoming. Now, we have Dark Watch. Okay, I never played this, but I watched the cutscenes of this game. From what I know, it's mostly action horror. This game actually has a sex scene in it, which is like, I watched a gameplay of this game, and like when I found out that this game had sexual scenes in it, I was like, this game is a bit, you know, it kind of like the female main character, the main character has two love interests. There are two female characters in this game, and one is femme fatale, and the other one, I don't remember much about this game, but I do remember that it was a lot of sexual things going on, and yeah, the sex scene and so on. I don't know. I haven't finished it. I haven't played it. Okay, Echo Knight. I talk about this into my Clock Tower 3 segment. I think it's a very scary, eerie game. A bit on the Fatal Frame. No, not garbage. A bit on the Fatal Frame vibe. I don't know, it's not that entertaining for me. Even though I like, the only Fatal Frame I like is Fatal Frame 2. But that's because, mostly because of the aesthetics, not really because of the enemies, which are always ghosts, by the way. Many untranslated games. Evil Dead. I actually played one Evil Dead. It was hilarious. An hilarious game. The one with the companion that follows you. and you have to team up with him. I played that one. That game is hilarious, but I don't think it's that scary, so goes into D category. The other Evil Dead, I didn't play it. I played Extermination. It's a Resident Evil clone game. It doesn't really add much to the Resident Evil team. You fight monsters. The monsters are cool, I guess, but into D category because it's not garbage. I can't call it garbage. Fatal Frame 2, okay. Let's start with Fatal Frame series by the best Fatal Frame. A category. See, I'm actually respectful of this series, even though I personally don't really like it. I think Fatal Frame 2 deserves all praise it gets because it's a great game, very scary, very atmospheric. The village, the story of the two twins, it's all very eerie and very scary. The Fatal Frame series, being an Asian focused horror, obviously follows the typical Asian horror ghost movie. Yeah, let's go ahead and talk about Fatal Frame 3. Okay, Fatal Frame 3 is... I played a little bit of it. It's a very sad story. It has a very dark atmosphere, the game, I have to admit, but again, for me, it's not that scary. I mean, the whole concept of ghost and haunted mansion, I mean, it's not that scary for me as a concept, though I will put it in the B category. I think this one is actually better than the first one. The first Fatal Frame, it's like the best one is Fatal Frame 2 and Fatal Frame 3 close to Fatal Frame 2 and then Fatal Frame 1, I think. I don't know the others. This is another Fatal Frame game. The one for the Wii, I think. I didn't play that one. It wasn't even translated officially into English. This one is the one that came out for the Wii U. It recently came out on the PS4 too. Maiden of Blackwater. It looks good, but I didn't hear much about in terms of horror game. I mean, from what I heard, it's not really that good compared to the other Fatal Frames. So Fatal Frame the first, I played a little bit of this game, but again, I consider it to be less scary than the third or the second one, but I'm still going to put it into C category. Again, Spooky Ghost doesn't work for me. Forbidden Siren 2. I don't know, it looked more scary than Forbidden Siren, the first one. But yeah, I guess I have to put it into, I haven't finished it, I haven't played it, even though I don't know, I watched a bit of it, but I don't know. Forbidden Siren, the first one. Okay, I actually don't have a good opinion about this game. I did play it, but I didn't like the game mechanically, and I don't know, I just feel like it's more on the terms of games like Outlast or Manhunt. Maybe Manhunt, no, it's more action, but I don't know, I didn't really find it as scary on the levels of Silent Hill or Resident Evil Outbreak. I mean, I don't know, it's a scary game, but for me, you know, the whole possessed people trying to kill you, mixed with a bit of, you know, the whole cinematic scenes. I mean, it didn't really feel that scary for me. I don't know, I wasn't really into it. I'm going to put it into C tier because while it is scary, it's not that scary, I think, personally. Ghost Hunter. I heard about this, I never play it. Glass Rose. Again, heard about this. It's a point and click game, but I never play it. Yeah, it is, probably it's spooky, but I don't know. Gregory Horror Show. Well, I did actually play this. I mean, obviously this game is not as scary as the others, given its cartoonish style. Like kind of Courage the Cowardly Dog, I think, style. I don't know, I'm going to put it into C tier. Because it's not that scary, and but it has spooky elements, but yeah. Demento, okay, this absolutely deserves an S tier. I'm sorry, this game nails atmosphere like few others do, okay? And it's very creepy, the way Lorenzo, Daniela, and I don't remember the first stalker, but Lorenzo, Daniela, Riccardo, from what I remember, yeah, Riccardo. I don't know, it's a very, very creepy game. And I think it deserves an S tier list for being that creepy. If you want to put horror into a video game, like, you know, the usual last survivor woman in team in horror, I think Demento will be the perfect capture of that, the perfect capture. I mean, I don't know, it just it's a great game. It's close to Silent Hill 3, so it makes sense that I put it in this tier. We have what is that? Indigo Prophecy. Okay, I never played this. I know, this is a very popular game, but I never played it. I don't know, I usually am not interested into games that are way too cinematic. The last cinematic game I played was Assassin's Creed. I never played The Last of Us, I know. But yeah, I don't really get into games that are way too cinematic, unfortunately. Yeah, sorry, Indigo Prophecy. Okay, now this one I know. I love this game. Absolutely S category. This game is even better than Fatal Frame 2 because the atmosphere and the horror of this game, it's way higher than the other games that I put in this tier, because this game it nails Japanese horror, traditional horror, in a way that it's perfect. Anyway, I think this game is a must for anybody that likes Asian horror atmosphere. Let's go to the next one. Okay, Manhunt 2. I watched a review of this game. From what I know of, it's very, very controversial. But I never played it, and I'm usually not really a fan of these, you know, gory games, like just free violence games, because they're not scary, they're just gross. So yeah, I'm going to put it into this category. The first Manhunt, again, I never played this game. I don't intend to play it either. It probably is a good game, it has its fans, It has a plot too, I mean, from what I heard of. It was made by Rockstar after all. But I'm not interested into something like this, so I'm just gonna put it haven't played it because I can't give a judgment on this. Okay, I know about this game and I know it has some fans, but sorry. I put Evil Dead here because at least it's a good game. But this one, it's not even good. I mean, first person from what I've seen, mostly you talk with characters. I don't know. I find it garbage because it's a waste of good assets on a goofy story, and I don't know. I can't put it anywhere else. I'm sorry for the fans of this game, but that's what I think. Okay, the first obscure. This game was actually trying to be scary and it had some potential, but I thought it was garbage. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. I actually do have some nostalgia about this game. I actually do. But I'm sorry, a game that has cinematic done bad, for me, it's a way. It completely ruins the atmosphere. Like, I'm sorry, you can have good levels, okay? You can have good levels. You can have a good script, even. But if the cinematic is bad, if the game cutscenes are goofy, and it's like more than one, it ruins the atmosphere for me. If it doesn't fit the theme. I mean, Clock Tower 2 has goofy cutscenes, but the game fits with the goofy cutscenes because the plot of the game is weird like that, and yet the goofy cutscenes are not that bad. Evil Dead 2 has Evil Dead for the PS2 has goofy cutscenes, a lot of goofy cutscenes, but they fit the theme because it's Evil Dead. Why put goofy scenes here? They don't. First, they are not funny for me. They are not funny whatsoever. Second, it just ruins the overall atmosphere of the game being scary for me. And leaving that out of the way, I just don't find it scary, especially in Obscure. There is no atmosphere. Like the only atmosphere in the game is in the first level, in the prologue when you are playing as the jock, I think. Okay, this game has everything it needs to be a great horror masterpiece. But overall, aside from the gameplay, the game was perfect as an horror game. Perfect. Like literally perfect. So I have to put it in the S category because as horror, it was scary in that. And as I said before, just like in Silent Hill 3 and just like in Demento, I mean, Silent Hill 3 and Demento are similar in themes and so on. This game is a bit more different than Silent Hill 3 and Demento, even though the main character is a girl and she's going through some shit. But if you know the game, spoiler if you don't want to know, but if you know what happens in Rule of Rose, instead of being similar to Silent Hill 3, it will be more similar to something like Silent Hill 2, because the main character is dealing with all the repressed memories she has. So while it is superficially similar to Silent Hill 3 or Demento, it's actually much more close to Silent Hill 2. Now, this is another territory. We talked until now about action and survival horror, right? In fact, all the titles before this where either a type of action horror or either a type of survival horror. Which more, which less? Shadow Tower Abyss is a From Software type of game. What I mean is that it's in the level of Dark Souls, which it can be considered a scary game by some, but yeah, I mean, obviously Shadow Tower Abyss and Shadow Tower are way more scarier than Dark Souls because first they are in first person, a rhyme there, but also because their atmosphere is more eerie and it has less action than the Dark Souls series. In fact, it may be more akin to King's Field, which is actually more scary than Dark Souls. And so yeah, I never played the Shadow Tower Abyss, but I did play Shadow Tower, and Shadow Tower Abyss is basically the sequel of Shadow Tower. Again, it's a From Software game, so it's similar to akin Dark Souls. Do I consider it scary? Shadow Tower Abyss, I don't know, but it's probably similar to Shadow Tower. I consider it scary, yes. I consider it as scary as the higher titles, no, because again, it's not really a horror game. It's more of a explorer dungeon game, and with horror elements. But yeah, I put it in C category because again, it has horror elements, but it's not all horror. Siren Blood Course. How many Siren are there? Spirit Camera. This one is the title for the NDS, right? I never played it. I don't know. Probably has to do with ghosts, so. Suffering. Okay, these titles for PS2, so I know about it, obviously. It's on the level of Manhunt, and it's very, very action horror game. So, as I said before, I don't find action horror scary, especially since this game is way more action than Manhunt. Again, no comment, the Suffering, the thing. Okay, I actually played this. It's scary, but it feels more like a co-op game, but not as good as Outbreak. I'm gonna put it into D tier because it has some good elements. X-Files, I never played it. I wanted to play it because I love the series, the X-Files series. Together with Twin Peaks, they are my favorite creepy, eerie series. I still have to finish this. 9 hours, damn it. I don't know, I still have to finish it. But it's a visual novel and it's on the same it's on the same team as Danganronpa basically. And Danganronpa is good, it's very good. But it's not scary, it's not that scary. I want to rate this based on how scary something is and not how good something is. Alien, I never played this. Amnesia, I actually played this. And yeah, I think it's scary. Even though I'm not personally a fan of first-person games, I do think it's actually scary and it has a lot of atmosphere and a lot of creepiness to it. I didn't follow the plot too much because I don't like a game that tells you the plot through flashbacks. I just I don't like something like this, so I didn't follow much of the plot. I'm gonna put it into B tier. Okay, actually no. Yeah, B tier. B tier makes sense. Okay, calling. I actually watched the PewDiePie play this. It was my favorite playthrough he did a long time ago. PewDiePie. Uh, Again, like Fatal Frame, because this game has to do with ghosts. I think it's very scary because it has jump scares from what I remember, but still, it's ghosts. So, next one we have Call of Cthulhu. Just Call of Cthulhu. I never played this one. I did play another Call of Cthulhu, but not this one on the Xbox, I guess. Break. Okay. Again, it's a Resident Evil clone. I played this a long time ago when I was nearly when I was a child, and I thought it was very cool actually. But the monster inside of it aren't zombies; they're actually just mutant monsters, some spiders and so on. A worm literally appears at the beginning of the game. So it tries to be a bit different than Resident Evil, but yeah, it's a clone. But I don't think it's bad. So I'm going to put it into D category. Next, we have the Constantine. Constantine. A movie game, like The Thing. It's not that scary because it's an action kind of horror game. I don't know if I can even call it an horror game. It's more of an action game, kind of like Blade for the PS1. The movie Blade, they released a game for the PS1. Kind of like that. So yeah, no opinion. I think it's a good game, but I don't think it's horror. I think it's more of an action game. Okay, now we're going to get to a very, very, very controversial opinion. I don't like a Corpse Party. I don't like anything about it. I don't like the plot. I don't like the levels. I don't like the design. I don't like anything. Like maybe the music, but I don't really. I just don't like anything. And that is not to say that I don't like it because it's a RPG horror game. Because I actually like RPG horror games. I like The Witch House, which I think it's incredible that The Witch House, which is a very scary, very atmospheric RPG Maker horror game, it's less popular than this game. Just because this game has a lore behind it. And The Witch House is, it has a better story and better elements and better design than Corpse Party, but nobody cares, and everybody cares about Corpse Party, even though it's your run-of-the-mill Japanese horror high school, I think. I mean, maybe at the time it came out, the original one, it may have been revolutionary, maybe, but as it is now, and as it became more popular when it came out on the PSP, I don't think it's that good. I just don't think it is. I don't. It's not that it's not scary. It's that it's just not atmospheric. I think like everybody can be scary with a jump scare, right? I can watch an horror anime and have the same jump scares like I can have in Corpse Party. I think some people find it atmospheric, but I don't. I don't think ghost children. Like I find the whole idea goofy. I don't know, goofy and cliche, and the characters are not likable. Not even one of them is likable to me. Maybe some characters are not as bad as the others, but they are the very best. They are forgettable. The very worst, they are straight up hateable. I just don't like anything. I don't like the setting, the high school setting. I don't know, I just don't like it. I don't want to talk too much about it because I'm going to go on a rant. And I don't like to focus on things that I don't like. Hello.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm just not gonna speak more about the Corpse Party series. So next we have Vampire. So next we have Countdown Vampires. This game does... okay, I can't call this game a Resident Evil clone with vampires because it's a bit more different than that. It has tank controls, it has camera angles like Resident Evil 1, but it is obviously a very different game. It tries to be a bit more on the action side. It has a lot of cinematics, differently from Resident Evil, which has none. The Resident Evil has just the cinematics at the beginning and at the end. That's it. No cinematics at all in the beginning. In the very three first games, Resident Evil had none of cinematics. This game is the opposite. It has a lot of cinematics and... yeah, but it has a great concept, I think, with vampires. Just it tried to be a bit more action rather than horror, survival horror. It tried to be a bit of more of an action horror than a survival horror. So I'm going to put it into the C category because it has some horror elements, but it tries to be a bit more action than horror. Cursed Mountain. Okay, this is the twin brother of Cold Fear. Bye bye. This is the twin brother of Cold Fear, basically. I think it is on the same vein as Fatal Frame because the game features ghost enemies. It's less action than Cold Fear, that's for sure. But I don't really think it's very survival horror because a lot of this game is basically just exploring and investigating, and it's very chill kind of game, but I don't think it's that scary, and so I'm going to put it into the D category because it's not that scary. Next we have... what the hell is this? Curse. I never heard about it. It's an Xbox only game, probably, so I never heard about it. Okay, Dead Space. This game is the perfect mix of survival horror and action horror. But I think this game is more scarier in the beginning than in the last part. The first segment is very scary, especially after when you get to the infirmary. Like that segment was the scariest segment for me. But just like in Silent Hill 2, when I found the apartments, the scariest part, in this game the scariest part was from the beginning to the infirmary. Then after that, it's just a walk in the park for me. This game has very little enemy variety, which is also why I think it doesn't really scare me as much. If I already know every enemy of the game, I already know what to expect, so I don't really have a lot of fear of what may come. And yeah, after a while, it's just basically a walk in the park after the infirmary, and yeah, plus you get upgraded, so again, the action horror element becomes more big as you move forward because you upgrade your armor and your weapons and so on, so the horror diminishes as you become more powerful. So this game, just for the first segment, goes to the the what is Resident Evil 4? The B category. Alright. I never played this. I don't know. It's the game about the trap. I don't know. Deception. Dark Deception. This is the game when you have to set up traps to torture your enemies. Yeah, I don't think that's scary. Okay, next we have... okay, Dark Deception. I never played it. Dino Crisis 2. Okay, I did play this. I actually loved it. I loved the design. Yeah, I don't think it's that scary because I don't know, I don't think dinosaurs are that scary, and the atmosphere is while it's good, it's not that eerie, so I think it goes into C category. Dino Crisis 3, never played it. Dino Crisis, the first one, yeah, I think it goes into the same category as Dino Crisis 2. Man, this tire is starting to get big. Alright. Dino Crisis, never played this. Dino Stalker, I guess it's like Resident Evil Survival. Disaster, never played it. D. Okay, now we're talking. This game is really, really scary. It's a first-person point-and-click game. I don't know, the traps, it's kind of like an haunted mansion, like, I don't want to say a walking simulator because you actually have to interact with the things. But yeah, it's a point-and-click with walking, and I think it's really, really eerie and creepy, and yeah, I think it deserves to get into the B category. It may be aged, but I don't feel like like, I don't know, B or C, guys. I don't know. I mean, it's really, it nails the atmosphere and it is scary, but maybe it aged, so okay, let's put it in C for now. Doom, again, action horror, I don't think it's scary. 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 Bug Island. I actually wanted to play this for a playthrough because of how fun it is, but it's not really a scary game. It's more of a, you know, these movies about giant spiders or giant alligators and so on. Basically, this game is on the level of horror of these movies. So yeah, no, I don't think it's scary. I love Eternal Darkness a lot, and I don't like how underrated it is because it's a really great game. And most reviews that talk about Eternal Darkness always talk about the way the game fucks with you. The only feature they remember is the fact that the game fucks with you by creating, deleting your save or turning off your TV, but they never talk about anything else. And I think it's a shame because the game, aside from that, has a lot to offer. Outside from the gameplay, which some people may like and some people don't, but the game is really good. It has a menu in which you have a book, which is the Necronomicon, which has lore on the plot, and you have to make spells to heal, to attack enemies, and to essentially do a lot of things to go forward to the game. And it's very Call of Cthulhu inspired because I mean, the game has to do with Lovecraftian type of monsters. The characters, you actually switch characters in the game through different eras, from Egypt to France. And while Eternal Darkness is amazing, it is definitely scary at some parts. I don't think it's as scary as the other ones. So I'm going to put it into, I don't know, A or B. I'm going to put it into B category because it is scary, but not as scary. Evil Twin, okay. I may be the only one that knows about this game. This game inspired, I think, American McGee but this game is very creative. It has a nice plot, it has cool characters, it has a lot of creativity, good soundtracks too, and it's creepy, it's eerie, and I think it's a great game. I think it's a scary game. It has action elements, but it coordinates. It's not really action, it's more of a platformer. It's a very creepy atmosphere. So I think it goes into B category because it actually nails the atmosphere. Kind of like an indie horror you would play nowadays from Puppet Combo. But yeah, I like it. I think it's really good. Okay, so next we have Fear Effect. I think this game was a bit on the action horror element. I don't remember much about it, but I don't think it was that scary, so I'm going to put it into no opinion, basically. Final Doom, no opinion. Galerians. Okay, I played Galerians. I have an opinion about it. Yes, I think it's scary. This game has to do with the main character having some kind of telekinesis powers, kind of like that other PS2 game where there is a guy with telekinesis powers, I think, which is also an horror game. I think it goes into C category because it is scary but not as scary. You think Evil Twin is scarier? Evil Twin is actually scarier, but because it has a lot of good creativity that makes it scary. I mean, you're basically in a nightmare realm in Evil Twin. Galerians 2, I never played it. Ghost Vibration, never played it, sorry. Half-Life, I'm sorry, guys, I never played Half-Life. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, I never played Downton Mansion. Hell Knight. Okay, this is based on Shin Megami Tensei, right? It's a spin-off from what I remember. I never played it, but I know that much. 1, 2, 3, never played it. Okay, never played it. A lot of titles are obscure, huh? Juggernauts, never played it. Ju-on the Grudge. I know the movie Ju-on, but I never played the game, so I'm going to put it here. Though I do think it's very scary, I never played it. Kodelka, okay, I played it. It's a JRPG with horror elements. It's the prequel to Shadow Hearts. It's actually better than Shadow Hearts, I think. It mixes action with the horror element good, so I think it goes to C category. Lifeline. This is the game when you have to talk. You have to have some kind of optional controller to play it. I never played it, obviously. Okay, this one is good, you guys. Martian Gothic. This is Dead Space if Dead Space was a slow PS1 survival horror with investigative elements, because this game has puzzles, a ton of them too. They are actually very difficult. Martian Gothic, so I think it goes into the B category. Salute. Monster House. Okay, I played this game. It's basically a Resident Evil clone dressed in Monster House, and I love Monster House. It's I have a lot of nostalgia about the movie. I think it's good actually for being a clone of Resident Evil. It has a lot of creativity. I think it goes into D category. I mean, haunted chairs and haunted furniture. I mean, if that's not level variety, I don't know what it is. Okay, I don't know what this says. I need the translation because I can't read. I can't read these titles.
ゲノム
Genom?
七種のゲノム No Genome of no, no name
I see.
No name Genome.
Okay, Nanashi no game. This game, I can give an opinion on this game. It wasn't translated. So I can't really give an opinion about this. Can you translate me this, please? To a lot of Wii games.
Ikenie no yoru.
Ikeni no yoru. I also didn't play
Ikenie
it.
no yoru. Ikenie mean sacrifice. Yoru is night.
I see. So I didn't. This game weren't translated for Wii. I didn't play them. Next we have Nightmare Creatures, the second one. Okay, this is again we're going back to action horror. This game is similar. Like some people compared this game, Nightmare Creatures, to Bloodborne because you know a bit of a similar vibe. But yeah, it's basically an action horror game that you have to defeat monsters and so on. Again, I can give an opinion on action horror because I don't get scared, and this tier list is based on how scary I may get, and I simply do not get scared playing an action horror game. Onimusha, okay. Action, this game has action. Like Devil May Cry, let's put it like this. Does this game have a creepy atmosphere more than Nightmare Creatures? It gives me more of a scary feeling because it has a more of a, how do you say, slow, creepy atmosphere? Yes, it does. It's scary? No. So I'm going to put it into D category, Onimusha, because while it has some creepy atmosphere with the samurai demons and so on, it's not that scary because it's still an action. Overblood 2. Okay, I haven't played Overblood 2, but I did play Overblood 1, and I know it's a very, very creative game. This is one of the first games that has a robot companion. I mean, other games have dog companions, human companions, obviously, wolves, and so on. But this game was actually a robot companion, from what I remember. And but I didn't remember being that scary. Though it's a cool game and it has tank controls and camera angles like Resident Evil. So I'm going to put it into the same category as Galerians. Parasite Eve. Again, I think this game, just like Onimusha, mixes action and horror in a level that creates suspense. And for that reason, I think I may put this in the same, no, actually, the same level B category, because Parasite Eve is scarier than Galerians in my opinion. Regardless of being a bit more of an action game, it has a lot of creepiness to it. And I think the same goes for Parasite Eve too. I know a lot of people don't like the second one, but I did think it was generally just as scary as the first one. So yeah, into the B category it goes. Don't worry, I'm not gonna put Parasite Eve 3 into the B category as well. Penumbra, I never played it, unfortunately. I heard good things about this game, but it's for computer and I don't play computer games. Paradox. Okay, I heard about this. I heard it's a game about space but it's not D0, right? The one about space. Unfortunately, no. I heard about it, but I never played it, nor I have watched it. Primal. Okay, this I played it. I actually loved it, but it's an very cinematic game. It's not that horror, but it really has a good plot and a good main character. This game actually does the opposite. I mean, it's the girl trying to save her boyfriend, because the whole journey of this girl is trying to save her comatose boyfriend. A lot of abilities, the main character can shapeshift, it has a good plot, but yeah, nobody cared about this game. Again, it's a great game, but it's not scary. I'm going to put it into D category. Road Danger, another disaster game. I think I never played it though. Run Like Hell. This is a space horror game, right? I watched some cutscenes of it, but I never played it. Shadow Hearts. Okay, I played this game. It's a JRPG horror like Kodelka, but it's not as scary as Kodelka. It's a JRPG, scary elements, some cinematics, a lot of cutscenes of people talking. Of characters talking. It's a great JRPG, but it's not that horror-esque. It's Kodelka. It's more horror-esque, in my opinion. So into the category. Okay, Trapped. No, I don't think it's scary. I don't think it's scary. Trapped. Another trap simulator. Vigilance Reward, which is the sequel of 999 Doors 999. I haven't played it yet. I plan to, because I have the entire trilogy. I have Zero Time Dilemma, 999, and Virtual Last Reward, but I still haven't played them. I don't know if I have to play them for YouTube, because usually I like to play something on my own, and then I play it on YouTube after I already know. I know it's bad like this, I know, but Zombie U. Okay, I played this. It's basically a zombie game. Nothing more, nothing less. It's a scary. It tries to do what it tries to do, which is scaring you. Again, I have to rate this based on how scary a game it is and how good I think it is. So yeah, B for being scary, I guess. Actually no, C, okay, because it doesn't have a lot of atmosphere. I mean, it's scary, but yeah. Story. I never played this. Alan Wake, never played it. Alice Maiden's Return. Okay, another action horror game. This game I love. It has a lot of creepiness to it, though I don't think it's scary as Evil Twin. I'm going to put it into C category because actually I'm going to put it into D category because while it has scary elements, it's not a very scary game. There you go. Okay, Alien Isolation. Okay, obviously everybody agrees that this game is scary to some extent. I mean, first person, the alien following you, dark, creepy space, ship, atmosphere, and so on. Again, I'm not a fan of first-person horror games, but I have to say this game is great. Very scary, very creepy. Maybe a bit repetitive, but I have to put it into the B category. The same category as Amnesia. Okay, I haven't played this. I haven't played this. Actually, I did play Alien vs Predator on the PS3. I actually loved it. I loved the Alien and the Predator campaign. It gives you a bit of lore into... not lore, but it's fun to play as a Predator or an alien. You literally play as an alien that just hatched. It's fun. But again, it's not scary, so I'm going to put it into the D category. Among the Sleep, I never played it. A Plug Tale, I never played it. Back in 1995, I never played it. Bendy and the Ink Machine. Unfortunately, I never played it. I wanted to play it, but I never did. Bioshock, I played it. Again, action horror. It goes into the D category. Because while it has action horror, I can't put it into the no commentary, and it generally scares you at some point, Bioshock. So yeah, into the D category it goes, for having some horror aspects that they are generally scary. Bloodborne. No, too much action, like nightmare creatures. Blood Will Tell. Okay, I played this once, I don't remember much about it. All I remember is that a very action game, so I'm going to put it into this category. Don't play, I haven't finished it yet. Blue Singer. I watched some cutscenes of this game, but I never played it. It was released on Dreamcast, I think. Call of Cthulhu. I played this game. Actually, I played it and I liked it. I actually did. It's an investigation kind of game, but it's actually creepy on some points, especially when you have to escape the Lovecraftian monsters. So I'm going to put it into the C category. Carrier. One is on a submarine, which I think is Deep Fear. The other is Carrier. Now, Carrier was one about mutants, and okay, the fact is that this game, Carrier and Deep Fear, they are both done in a similar tone to Resident Evil. They could be called Resident Evil 1 clones, but they are not, because on the surface they may look similar to Resident Evil, but they have a lot of cinematics. I mean, a lot of cinematics, and they have, like, compared to the first Resident Evil, Carrier and Deep Fear have deep plots, like deep lore plots. The first Resident Evil didn't really have that much of a plot. Oh, they are working on a virus and the virus escaped. We are police people and one of us was working with the corporation that made this virus. And I actually think they are very creepy games. Especially Deep Fear. So yeah, Carrier and Deep Fear, I think they're underrated. And yeah. Okay, Castlevania. Castlevania, it's an action Metroidvania. I don't think this type of game in general is that scary, unfortunately, but I think it's a great game. But this entire title is based on how scary a game I think it is, so yeah. Okay, Castlevania Lords of Shadows. This one is different because it has cinematics and it's a PS3 third-person game, but still it's very action. Yeah, more on the terms of Devil May Cry. Again, same. This game is based on a movie, Lost Child. The game is actually done in a Resident Evil 1 way. with the same camera angles and time controls, but yeah, I never played it. But honestly, I don't think it's that scary from what I've seen. Claire, never played it. Gelicio. I was tempted to put it into garbage, you know, but I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna do it. It's just that the game has a horrible dub in Italian. Horrible. It's horrible. But yeah, let's keep it there. I never played Condemned, I never played Control, Crypt Killer, never played it. D2, a crazy ass game. Okay, a crazy ass game. If you thought Deadly Premonition was weird and bizarre, then this game takes Deadly Premonition and blows it out of the water. If you watch the cutscenes for this game, very bizarre, and it actually has a lot of emotional moments as well, and yeah, it's a great game, very creepy, very horrorish, very bizarre. So I'm going to put it into the A category. Dante's Inferno. There's a lot of horror elements, a lot of gore elements, but it's action, so it stays here. Never played this. Never played this, unfortunately. Dark Seed, never played it. Days Gone. Played it. Zombie open world game. Going to put it into D category. Dead Island. Another open world zombie game. Goes into the D category. Actually, do you find this game scary? Do you? I don't think I do. I mean, yeah, first person with zombies. Zombie U actually is more scary than Dead Island, but again, Zombie U in the C category, Dead Island in D category. Riptide, I never played it. Deadly Premonition, great. But again, we're not going to talk about how great a game is. We're going to talk about how scary it is. So, Deadly Premonition, it's less scary than D2. That much I can say. So it goes into the B category. We're basing a game also on how it nails the atmosphere. Never played this. Dead Rising 2, I played it. Again, action, but it does have horror and suspense elements. So it goes into the C category. And I played this one. Then I played this Dead Rising, which I think it's a good thing. Dead Rising, the first one. Okay, Dead Rising first one goes to the same category as... I hope this tier is good, guys. I did it in the way I believe. By putting horror games like Devil May Cry in the same category as something like, you know, Dino Crisis or Fatal Frame, you want to feel right. Dead Rising into C category. Okay. Deathmark. Visual novel, never played it. Quantum, never played it. Dementio, never played it. Devil May Cry, I literally just played it. Again, an action horror game. Onimusha is actually more scary than Devil May Cry, I think, personally. So, yeah, no. It can be put into any tier because it's an action game more than an horror game. Dracula, never played it. Dracula, not Dracula. Dying Light, never played it, unfortunately. Devil Within 2. The Evil Within 2. Okay, I played this game. I actually didn't like it. I didn't like the open world. I didn't like the new gameplay features. I thought the first one was a masterpiece. This one did everything wrong. I'm sorry. It goes into the garbage. I can't praise it for anything. It destroyed what the original one was, and it's not even scary anymore. I played it. I didn't find it scary. I find the gameplay to be a chore, and I don't know, it ruined the atmosphere for me. Now, the first Evil Within, however, it's a masterpiece. I hate that this game gets, a bad reputation for some reason, because it's a great game. A category. Enemy design, it's great. Great horror game. I might actually want to replay it. I replayed this game so many times together with the Resident Evil HD. I play the most played, the most replayed horror games for me are Resident Evil HD, Code Veronica, and Evil Within. So, Fear 2. Actually, I played the Fear 2, but I didn't play Fear 1. And yeah, I think it's a pretty game. It has a lot of action because it's a shooter, but it has a lot of creepy atmosphere, so I think it goes into the D category for having creepy atmosphere. Okay, so the first one is scarier than the second Fear, so I'm going to put it into the C category. Next we have Gears of War. Never played it. Probably very action game. Never played this one. Never played this one either. Never played this one either. Home, never played this one either. Home Sweet Home, never played it. Overkill, never played it. 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 Ill Bleed. I actually wanted to play this, but I never played it. Land of the Dead, never played it. The Last of Us, never played it. Left 4 Dead, never played it. Left 4 Dead 4, never played it. Little Nightmares, okay, I played this. What do I think of it? It's a 2D platforming game. It's eerie, not that scary, but I'm going to put it into the... Where should I put it, you guys? In the same category as Silent Hill Homecoming, or in the same category as Galerians? Because on the other hand, Little Nightmares, it's scary, and but it's not... It goes into the D category. No matter how good a game may be, if it's not scary, it goes to a lower category. Okay, this game is not scary at all. It has horror elements, but it's not scary. Lollipop chainsaw. This girl was popular for a while, right? I'm surprised this game didn't have any sequel since how popular she was. Just like Devil May Cry, it's mostly action. Lone Survivor, never played it. Luigi Mansion, never played it. Luigi Mansion, never played it. Luigi Mansion, never played it. Soul Prophecy, never played it. Metro. I actually played it, but I didn't play Metro 2013. I played Metro, not Metro Last Light, the other one. But I haven't yet to finish it, so I can give a really good opinion about it. Murder Soul Suspect, never played it. Necronomicon, PS2, never played it. MG, which is the sequel to Deathmark, I think. No, I didn't play it. Outlast. I want to play this game actually for a playthrough, but I don't know. I don't know. I never played it. I want to play it though. I have it. I just didn't play it yet. Prey. I actually played this game, and though it has some action elements and exploring elements and so on. It is scary, so I'm going to put it into the D element. Uh, it has a eerie atmosphere, I have to say that. I never played this one. Quake, never played it. Rain World, never played it. Undead, never played it. Undead Nightmare, never played it. Saw 3, never played it. Saw, never played it. Shadow Man, right? This one was popular, but it's mostly an action game. I never played it, but I watched a playthrough of it, and it's mostly action. So, I played The Shadow of the Damned, yes. Yes, I did. But unfortunately, I have to keep it in this tier because it's mostly action. Just like Lollipop Chainsaw, it's a comedy and with a bit of horror elements, but yeah, mostly comedy and action. Shell Shock, never played it. Never played it, don't know what this name means. Singularity, never played it. Sinking City, yet to finish. Splatterhouse, never played it. Darkness. I actually played the Darkness a long time ago. But again, I don't find it that scary. I mean, you are already an overpowered guy when you play Darkness, from what I remember. So it's not that scary when you play as an already overpowered guy. Just like in Splatterhouse, I think, right? You play as an overpowered man already. It's not scary like this. Ring, never played it. Never played this one either. Neither this one. The Town of Light, I actually played this one. This one is made by an Italian studio. Just like Marta is Dead, I think. But yeah, it's a good game, I think. Town of Light. A bit short, but I think it's good. So I think it goes into the C category. Even though it's short, I think it's good. Umineko no Nakokoroni. I want to play this for a let's play, but I think it may be too long. But yeah, I actually want to do it. Until Dawn. I actually played this one. And I find it scary, even though it has a bit of a campy vibe to it. B-horror movie vibe. So I can't really say it's as scary as Silent Hill 3, but I think it does a decent job of creating tension. So I think it goes into C category. Altered Species, never played it. Walking Dead. I want to play it soon. I never played it. I want to play the first one, and then the sequels with Clementine. White Day, never played it. Wolfenstein, never played it. World War Z, never played it. Yakuza Zombie, never played it. Yomawari. It's a little kind of like RPG Maker game. B category, because it's generally scary. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I had fun doing this because I like to organize and share my thoughts about why I like something and why I dislike something. And if you disagree or agree with me, please let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching and have a great day.